Hello everyone, and I'm the Red, and welcome back to Destinies. We're gonna keep going, I promise. I plan to finish this and go back to Harbor Wars Age Calamity, because I technically never finished that on here. Nah. This is why I wish to indict Miss Sykes on the charge of murder. Believing in your client to the end is the basic principle of a good defense attorney. I think it's just the principle of ours. Shouldn't you extend the same principle to your own coworker? You're probably right. Maybe I'm not even fit to be a lawyer. Okay. However, I don't care. Well, this case is special to me. I don't... Oh, God, buddy. Trauma. Clay was my friend. And that's why I just have to know the truth. Apollo suspected his trusted coworker of killing his friend. To dispel his doubts, he investigated this on his own, but that only led him to more doubts. Apollo must have been really struggling with this. Well, Apollo may have doubts, but I'll say it again. Athena Sykes isn't the murderer. Well, tell them that someone else is the murderer. Then I have only one thing to say. Evidence is everything in court. Well, Mr. Wright, think you have the concrete proof to knock down my arguments? What is it? Your arguments have been very clear, Mr. Justice. And your facts prepared to be indisputable. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to think of my theory? You're gonna get fired and a pay deducted. Actually, no, just a pay cut. Does he even pay him? It looks like not even you can deny it. Miss Sykes is the only one to use the only possible escape route. Under these circumstances, there can be no other suspect than the defendant. Unless you think there was an alternative escape route. Is that what you think, Mr. Wright? Is that what you think, Mr. Wright? Is that what you think, Phoenix? Was there an alternate escape route? Oh my god. Yeah, let's just keep going. Yes, of course there must have been. Just don't ask me what. You're just bluffing again, aren't you? Well, that's the best strategy in this and in college. Me? Bluff? No way! He knows me too well. It's fine, Mr. Wright. Even a bluff would suit me just fine. But buddy, I mean, you're going through it. As long as you can clear up this doubt inside me. Wait, so is that what this is all about? I want to believe in Athena. I really do. But what is faith without doubt? That's why I need to question her guilt. So that once the truth finally comes out, I can really fully trust her. So that you can really trust me? Seems your junior partner has showed us what trials are really all about. No. I believe you're right. We prosecutors painstakingly question every detail in pursuit of the defendant. While we lawyers believe in and defend our clients to the end. When both sides go out against each other, that's when we discover the truth. This sounds anime cliche as heck. Precisely. And when the battle's over, we will understand the true meaning of trust. This is exactly what trials are about. Wouldn't you agree? Yes. I couldn't ignore the seed of doubt that was growing inside me. So I decided I needed to face it head on. No matter what the truth is waiting ahead, I won't be afraid. That's so like a Paul, always uber earnest about things like this. Mr. Justice, I vow to spill every last bit of doubt in your heart. Good, because I want to believe in Miss Sykes again. Oh, that's kind of sweet. You're really hoping there was an alternative route, aren't you, Apollo? But if I use the process of elimination, there aren't really that many possibilities. Director Cosmo's at the southern exit, leaving only the control room and the corridor to the Space Museum. Which door could be the culprit have used to escape through? Come on, Mr. Wright, where do you think the culprit escaped to? Oh, God. They really only could have escaped the corridor to the Space Museum. All they had to do was use the unconscious Mr. Starbucks Prince to get through the door. It appears that all you're trying to establish is Miss Sykes' guilt. If the culprit used that route, the only exit would have been to boarding lounge 2. That logical conclusion of your argument is that the killer is none other than the defendant. Oh god, I knew it! That's the only way it could have been, huh? If the culprit escaped into the corridor that leads to the Space Museum, then I guess it's true, the only exit would have been to boarding lounge 2. But Miss Sykes was the only person captured by the boarding lounge 2 security camera. I investigated the crime scene thoroughly. But the only place the culprit could have escaped to was the Space Museum corridor. There weren't any other secret corridors or anything. So that leaves with no other conclusion but to draw that Athena Sykes was the culprit. What could be the answer? Was there really no other escape route? But hold on a second. What if? Just what if? Just what if? No, I don't want to do that again. That gives me a headache. Where did those mysterious sleeves we saw in the corridor come from? What if they're a clue to the culprit's real escape route? I think it is possible that the culprit escaped into the Space Museum, but then came out using a route other than into the boarding lounge 2. Oh? Launchpad 1 and the Space Museum were switched after the bombing, meaning the Space Museum corridor was moving along with the rail at the time, which is exactly what an alternative escape route opened for our culprit. Are you kidding me? Judging by the intense look in your eyes, I take it you're serious. Very well then, Mr. Wright, do tell. Where could the culprit have gone from the museum's corridor besides boarding lounge 2? We found something odd while investigating the museum corridor this afternoon. Namely, a few dead leaves on the floor. Considering where dead leaves came from, they point us to exactly where the culprit escaped to. Yes, I remember seeing some leaves myself. Ah! Do you mean? Yep, while the Space Museum was in motion just beyond the corridor safety door, was an alternative place that the culprit could use to escape. Oh my god, why? In other words, the culprit's real escape route was... he jumped outside the door. The area outside the Space Center! You're freaking insane! I mean, I think everyone in this court of law universe is insane. Do you know how impossible that would be? The corridor's level with the 3rd floor! Even if the culprit tried to leap outside the wall of the Space Center building, they would fall to their death! Well, no. Ordinarily, yes. Oh, but after the bombing incident, the culprit could make use of a certain item. And what item was it, exactly, Mr. Wright? Alright, this is what the culprit used to leap outside the wall of the main building. I would not phrase it like that. But anyway, where is it? Oh, there it is. An emergency ladder. There was an emergency ladder in the 4th floor robotics lab, and it was used that day after the explosions to help evacuate people. Miss Blackwell herself used that ladder to escape down to the ground level. Recall that the launch pads were switched after the ladder was lowered. Oh my god. The corridor would have passed by this ladder while the pads were being switched. And that's when the culprit literally sprang into action. and leapt onto the ladder. What? Who would have imagined? No one, Apollo. That's why. Order in the court. Well, an alternative escape route seems to have emerged. Which means someone other than his sight could have been the culprit, right? Making things up in the fly is an attempt to sway the courts again, are we, Mr. Wright? Your theory has so many holes it puts Switch Team to shame! Alright, then, name one. I have here detailed information about the Space Center according to this. The distance between the museum corridor and the main building during the movement is a full 20 feet. Oh, fudge. 20 feet? You're pulling my leg, right? In addition, the corridor is 3 floors from the ground, or roughly 50 feet. What's more, the culprit would be leaping to a precarious place. An unstable ladder. Human beings feel fear in dangerous situations. It's a basic survival instinct. An ordinary person would certainly hesitate before jumping. Or even freeze in fear and not jump at all. I know where this is going already, but there's a character in Pokemon Special. His name is Blake. Hearing this and thinking of that. This is a terrifyingly great idea and also terrifying. But the culprit had just murdered someone. They weren't in any worse state of mind. Nevertheless, why would they have taken that kind of risk? They could have waited for the switch to be complete and escaped to Boarding Lounge 2. Because there was a security camera in Boarding Lounge 2. The culprit knew they would be recorded if they left the Space Museum that way. In that case, the culprit could have hidden in the museum until things settled down. And then blended in with the other people after the museum was opened. That's a good point. But you claim that despite all of this, the culprit took a 20-foot death-defying leap, and all in the brief moment of the corridor ladder passed by each other. That's also a good point. They would have needed a running start while the corridor was moving to make that jump. And their limiting time was off, or if they couldn't jump far enough, it would have been instant death. What kind of a person would attempt something like that? Have you met anyone in this agency? Stop bringing up good points, Edgeworth. This true culprit of yours is nothing but a figment of your imagination. Why do you always have to point out every flaw? Well, one of us has to in this relationship. Mr. Edgeworth's right. That does sound pretty insane. Oh god, buddy. The culprit would have to be someone who feels no fear, like a stuntman. I don't know, I feel like stuntmen feel fear. But everyone feels fear on some level. Right? Wait a minute. Ah, I've got it this time. I can prove that there's someone who could have used this alternative escape route. Oh, can you now? This proves the possibility of a person who could have used this alternative escape route. Sora's, nope. What's that, Mr. Wright? Didn't we not get this Blackwell? This is a certain person's very interesting psych profile. The subject doesn't experience feelings like a normal people do. In other words, this person doesn't feel happiness, sadness, or fear. Doesn't feel fear. Right? You can't be serious. Oh, I'm serious. Without the constraint of fear, he could easily do what an ordinary person wouldn't dare. Just as you or I could do a broad jump on the ground without the slightest fear. This subject can make a 20-foot leap 50 feet up in the air. He could have chosen this extreme way of escaping without hesitation. So you're saying that to a person without fear, that alternative route would be quicker and eliminate the chance that they'd be spotted. That's actually terrifying. I mean, granted, never mind. That's definitely pretty extreme, Mr. Wright. But was there such a person there at the scene? Yes, the Phantom, that mysterious shadowy figure who keeps popping up. Oh dear! The Phantom? Again? I knew Phantom was there behind the scenes of the Space Center bombing, but I wasn't sure if he was connected to the murder of Clay Turn as well. However, now it's all clear. The Phantom is the one who not only bombed the Space Center, but also killed Mr. Terran. What? Well, that's terrifying, and I love it. Order in the court, order, I say. But Mr. Wright, please continue. There were just too many similarities between this case and the one from 7 years ago. But why, you may ask? It can only be because both endings were the work of the same Phantom. So then this Phantom is the one who killed Clay? But who is he? This Phantom has been haunting this case, pulling the strings in the background. Who could this unidentified international spy be? Right, this escape route must have been a part of the Phantom's plan from the start, as it was tricking Director Cosmos into switching the launch pads. The bomb on the second floor was meant to make the elevators in Sarah unusable. That's why he gave advanced warnings and planted a bomb where he did. Yes, I think you're right. But it doesn't explain this one last thing. So I lowered my emergency ladder like the detective leading the evacuation told me to do. But it was such a pain. Why couldn't they have used the ladders in the other rooms? Phoenix is smarter than we let on. I know we make jokes, but that's pretty smart to think of. Or dumb, depending on how your writing perspectives are. The robotics lab wasn't the only room with an emergency ladder. But he couldn't have made that leap unless he was certain which one it would be. So you mean the Phantom must have been someone who knew that particular ladder was going to be used? That's right. Who could it be? Wait a minute. So I lowered my emergency ladder like the detective leading the evacuation told me to. Miss Blackwell lowered the ladder after being told to by the detective leading the... Ah! You've got to be kidding me! Did you figure it out, Miss Wright? Do you know who the Phantom is? Yes, I do. Who is it? Who killed Clay? Our mysterious spy, known as the Phantom, is none other than... I'm kind of relieved it's this guy. Not gonna lie. After the explosions, a member of the staff crossed paths with a certain detective. I was on duty on the 4th floor. It was quite the madhouse, I tell you. I don't know who's speaking, it's been a while. As for the detective who was leading the evacuation from the 4th floor, oh, that's probably Aura. He had a very specific objective in mind. So I lowered my emergency ladder, like the detective leading the evacuation told me to. His objective was to secure his own escape route. We lowered an emergency ladder from a 4th floor window and escaped that way. Once everyone else got out safely, I made my way down too and headed to the shelter. This is a detective you all know. He's even the lead detective on the current case. He appears to be a very emotional man, but his psych profile says he's without emotion. Back to the office. What are you saying? You mean the Phantom is Detective Bobby Fulbright? Exactly. You're all taken in by his fake persona. Detective Fulbright's real identity is the Phantom. Order in the court! Mr. Wright, how could this be? That's easy, Your Honor. Detective Fulbright was leading the fourth floor evacuation effort. Our first clue, that he made no attempt to have any other ladders put in use. The ladder in the robotics lab was the only one he ordered to be lowered. The second is that he directed everyone to the basement shelter via this ladder. Verily. Who says verily anymore? Anyway, it was all a part of his plan to create an escape route. After Detective Fulbright saw to it that the ladder was lowered from the robotics lab, he went to the lounge where he killed Clay Terran and escaped into the Space Museum. The Space Museum started moving slowly, so he waited for the right time, got a running start, just jumped it. And just as the corridor was passing the ladder, he leaped onto it. I don't believe it. Nope. That Adaptated detective did all of that? Was it really him? I mean, all this time I thought... Sorry we didn't catch your name. My name? I'm Bobby Fulbright. The heroic detective who defends our good citizens from evil. The champion of justice who comes running whenever you're in need. And my catchphrase, in justice we trust.
Then his concern for Simon was all just one big act?
I swore to reform Prosecutor Blackwell and make him a valued member of society again. So I can't just sit by and watch him give in to his emotions and tear that defendant apart. That monster killed Clay. He had me completely fooled. Come to think of it, he's the only one who brought up that bloodstained lighter in court too. That scumbag even made me turn on Athena. Damn it! How the hell did I fall for that? I don't know, buddy. You've been through the ringer. For him to have warmed his way to the police department as well. Your Honor, the defense demands to question Bobby Fulbright. Yes, I agree that we need to hear from him right away. The court will take a short recess, and then Detective Fulbright will take the stand. Oh, God. That was an uproar in court. Whew. Man. I forgot how cool that was. Well, that was dramatic, if you ask me.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wright.
Wow, hold on a minute. That was a little... I can't get audio mixing right. That and frame rate, which is two of the things I hope to figure out in the near future. That's gonna make it louder. Hold on. Let's try that.
If it wasn't for everything you did,
Don't thank me yet. We still have to... Oh, oh no. Oops. How did it do that? Oh my god. There we go. I meant to just go up. There. That's better. Okay. We still have an uphill battle to fight.
you got it, boss.
Oh, come on, buddy. It's okay.
Apollo!
Well, this is awkward.
Oh, I know. There.
Athena, can you do me a favor?
Uh-huh. What is it?
Could you punch me, please? Oh, dear Lord. That was the last thing you need.
What? Why should I do that?
Because I should have believed in you. I let the seeds of doubt inside me get the best of me. I'm really sorry that I didn't trust. Ouch!
Don't be such a dope! Did you slap him? I was really touched by what you did.
Huh? Now what are you talking about? I just lived this.
took time and effort to genuinely think about who I am and what I'm made of. After all that, how could I punch a true friend like you, Paul?
But you could slap a true friend. You didn't have any trouble slapping him a second ago. Thanks, Athena. And thanks for waking me up to reality again. Dude, I guess I know who to call if I ever get sleepy in court. It looks like some promising young people working under you. Well, you have like a whole cast of defense prosecutors we never see. Hedgeworth. Yeah, I think they're pretty great myself. And they're not afraid to keep me in line. Anyway, I have some very good news. Aura Blackwell surrendered and the hostages have been set free. Oh, Trucy's safe. Trucy and all the others. Oh, thank goodness! Actually, did Apollo ever know that? Miss Blackwell said she had something she really needed to do. So I granted her special permission to do what she must. I wonder what it is. Oh, hi, you're here. Miss Blackwell! Is she gonna slap us? I didn't come to apologize, if that's what you're thinking. You might. My actions are what allowed the truth of what happened 7 years ago to come to light. But I did come because I had something to say to all of you.
Miss Aura.
She better not be here to complain about something. Miss Blackwell, I want you to apologize. Miss Blackwell, I want to apologize to you. The fact that you couldn't trust the court system is our fault. Yeah, it's true. The courts are filled with incompetent idiots. Still, I suppose I could let you handle the rest of the case for me.
Oh, Miss Aura, does that mean you're starting to trust the system again?
No, of course not. Be quiet, hunk of junk. It's just, I wouldn't mind if you were the ones who took Menace's killer down. Leave it to us. We'll get him. So I guess that means she's starting to trust us at least. Is that good or bad? I think it's good. Never mind. Oh, Simon! Simon, I'm so glad both you and the princess were cleared of all suspicion. It's all thanks to me and my robots. You better be grateful. You took people hostages. I never imagined you would go to that far. Though you always were extreme. I think you're both extreme. I don't recall ever requesting your help. True sibling dialogue, if ever. As closed as ever, I see. Well, now that you've been released, I guess it's my turn to go live in the slammer. For how long? Do you get released? I just hope you're not my prosecutor for the trial. You'd probably give me the death penalty! True ever sibling rivalry if ever. You know me all too well. I guess love can take a variety of expressions, including stunned in their case. Yeah, well, every sibling has their own unique way of going about things. Trust me. But I was truly about to be executed tomorrow. Did you want to die? Because I don't think that was the goal here, buddy. No, because of you, it looks like I won't be crossing the sticks just yet. What the frick, dude? You have my heartfelt thanks, Aura. I'm sorry I caused you so much anguish. I mean, to be frank, it was just an unfortunate set of circumstances, and Aura took it out like the only way she knew she could. Not being a psychologist here, but I'm just pointing that out. Though, then taking hostage is an extreme case. Simon. Aw. I'm so glad, Simon. So very glad to hear you say that. True sibling dialogue. Aura. Alright, that's enough of that. Bailiff, take me to the detention center. Oh, really? She just goes to jail? What Miss Blackwell did was inexcusable. Grateful for pointing that out. But it's clear she did it out of love for her brother. An extreme sense of love.
I still can't wrap around my mind around Detective Fulbright being the Phantom.
I can't believe he killed Clay. Right. And murdered my mentor, which brought great distress upon little Athena. Chief Prosecutor. Yes? I would ask a favor. Would you allow me to stand at the prosecutor's bench for this trial? I wish to claim the Phantom's head by my own hand. Oh, frick, man. That was my plan all along. After all, it's highly unconventional for a man of my position to stand in court. Okay. Sir. The formal paperwork has yet to be filed, but you are hereby conditionally released. Please take the prosecutor's bench in your official capacity, and uncover the truth by your own hand. Otherwise I will fire you, or dock your pay. I'm much obliged. The day to part with these has come at last. Chief Prosecutor, could you? Well, he's freed. Could he kill us now? I mean, with the sword? How long have I waited? Maybe it's the sense of freedom, but even the air seems fresher, the light brighter. And I will relish in slashing that black god Fulbright to shreds without mercy. Okay. I don't have to be able to read his heart to know how happy he is. Yep. I'm so glad, but I won't
Cry just dancing! After all, we've still got a trial to finish.
And I think that's gonna finish this video. So, thank you all for watching. Be sure to subscribe and have a wonderful day. Goodbye.